Well, there are some people in communities that just get things done. There are some people who feel passionate about certain issues, and that passion allows them to get things done. I am so pleased to introduce to the show a gentleman who I've known for many years. He is in that category. Hartford resident, dabbled in Hartford politics. He is a film producer, director, and writer, and he has a movie out. The title of it, it's a film, the title of it is The Snitch. It has to do with getting our community together. It's so nice to be sharing the studio with Stan McCauley. Stan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mary. It's good to see you.
It has been a while.
It has. But you look the same.
I do. Well, thank you very much.
You look ageless.
I look ageless.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
See, I'm going to have to invite you back. That's all there is to it. Thank you for coming in today, Stan. I had heard about, and you were always involved with very impactful projects, if I can use that word, projects that really make a difference. So I'm not surprised, but I was very interested to learn more. And when I heard about your latest production, The Snitch, to really bring back communities, bring people together. I know this was your baby, it was your concept. How did it come to you?
A friend of mine is actually a Grammy Award-winning record producer. And many, many years ago, he and I were very involved in ministry. He was my pastor at the time. And about 25 years ago, we produced an album called King's Kids. The group was Kingdom. And the album was the King's Kids project. And the songs were so great that I wanted to put something together around the songs. And so what originally started off as a stage play and a bunch of great people who can act, but they're not good enough for the stage. They're great for film, but they weren't going to be good enough for the stage, and we were losing the summer. So I said, you know what, I'm going to adapt this and make it into a movie. And that's what we did. And I sat down, and I guess maybe 12, 15 hours later, the script was done. And we started writing the script as a workshop project to get them kind of indoctrinated into the process that we use in developing scripts. And we shot it last summer. And, there were some issues happening in Hartford that we kind of wanted to rush this and get it out because of the social things that were going on. But you have to take your time. So that's really how it got started. The music in this story is really the inspiration for it, are the gospel songs. And
in any film, when you just said that, I just had a flash, Dan. The music is such a powerful part of any film, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Not just in terms of setting the tone, but really defining the emotion.
Oh yeah.
Of that scene.
Oh yeah. When you score a movie, which I think is just as important as writing the script and the directing and all of those kinds of things, which is why I guess they give Oscars out for best music score. It helps to tell the story as much as the words. And if you think of songs in terms of like lullabies and certain sounds, certain tones evoke fear, others evoke humor, some evoke...
Well, I'm thinking, as you're talking, I'm thinking about the soundtrack, but just, those few notes that we're so familiar with in the movie Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, does that set the stage or what? Right.
Now, if you'd have had the same scene, but a more comical music, then no one would have taken it seriously. So, in that sense, music is designed to help move the storyline. For us, the songs were already there. So what we did is we developed the script around the existing songs, although many of the songs, obviously aren't played all the way through our project because this was supposed to be a stage play and a musical. But the songs are still the inspiration for for the music. I mean, for the movie, and as such, the songs were very social. They had deep social impact.
There is a trailer, which I've seen
Mm-hmm.
online, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Speaking with Stan McCauley, producer, director, writer of The Snitch. And let's get right to the story, because it's very poignant, Stan. It is something that anyone who listens to the media or reads the newspaper understands and gets. Any city, whether it's a large city or a small city, is experiencing right now. And The Snitch is really all about reclaiming the responsibility of policing our communities. And I know you talked about the fact that, there are a lot of young people that are just gunned down on their streets in the community. And that oftentimes, the shameful truth is that in many of those cases, the community knows who is doing it, hence the snitch.
Hence the snitch. Silence can be used as a weapon. And so, if you say something bad can happen to you. So people are silent. And it spills over into other things, So I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be the one that complains. But if you think about what goes on in urban America in terms of the loss of life with young people, lots of folks know who's doing stuff, but no one will say anything. And so
they're scared to death to say anything.
They're scared how they view the police. There's a lot of different social dynamics, but the law enforcement, the police are there to enforce the law. That's their job. And so, if you don't see yourself as an integral part of the community, which then employs the police to go after the people who are perpetrating crimes against you, then you acquiesce, or you cede to the enemy your safety and your security. And so you're saying to the thugs on the street, oh, well, you run the community, because that's actually what's happening. And so this is a case that I believe where communities have far more control than they believe they do if they will just say something. But we have this, particularly within urban America.
But they're afraid to say something.
At some point you have to overcome fear, and that's really what this movie deals with. Is saying something. The young lady witnesses a crime, but then she's afraid to say anything about it. Okay, and one way or another, her life has been impacted. Now she's going to be threatened. Will she lose her life? Is she going to lose her friends? And these are very real things that people have to consider. But, I consider being a victim in that way a lot like being in a car accident. I mean, nobody wishes themselves to be in a car accident, but it's what you do after that that really defines the character and who you are. And because it's a gospel play, or a gospel story, it's, at the heart of it, which is one reason why we're introducing it on Easter Sunday, is, if you say that you are a person of faith and believe, then you need to exercise a little of that when you stand up for things, particularly that impact your community.
Courage.
And 90% of faith is courage. The other 10% is tenacity. And so, we have to have courage, because without it, there's no faith. And sadly, within urban America, most gun shootings happen within one block of a church.
Had not heard that statistic.
Yes. And so
because
that's, well, I guess it could be the abundance of little storefront churches, which is populating a lot of urban America. But nonetheless, it is a shame that what was once the institution for the standard of what is right and what is wrong has now become silent because the members are afraid to speak out. And so we explore a lot of different issues and give people a lot of opportunity to think and hopefully discuss among themselves what they would do under these circumstances.
Speaking with Stan McCauley from Hartford, film producer, director, writer, talking about his show The Snitch, which is 26 episodes.
26 episodes. We're going to start pre-production. Let's see. This is March. April, May will be in pre-production. June we'll start to shoot, and we'll be shooting all over the city of Hartford. All of the things that I do, I always shoot them in Hartford. And it's a reality news drama. So, there is a script. The story is fictitious, but the commentary is what actually is happening in the community or in the news the particular week that we actually shoot.
The trailer is up. Folks can look at the trailer now, correct?
They can see it now. They go to accesstv.org. They can see it. They can look it up on YouTube, Facebook, all of the social media where everyone is at. So you can see it.
Can you stay with us?
Sure.
Talking with Stan McCauley. If you have any comments or questions about inner city communities, neighborhoods, the courage, speaking up, not speaking up, tough issues. Our number is 1-888-574-2723. We'll take a short break. We will be right back. Right now, we will check in with our Wall Street Journal report, and then we'll be right back with you. And again, 1-888-574-2723. So on Easter Sunday, we can all check out the first episode of the reality news drama, The Snitch, speaking with the producer, director, and writer, Stan McCauley from Hartford. Stan, thank you again for coming in. You've tackled a tough subject having to do with really reclaiming the need to reclaim the responsibility of policing our communities. And not letting, I'm going to put it in a very silly way, not letting the bad guys run us.
It's community is self-sustaining, self-educating, self-policing. You can't complain about what goes on in the community, particularly in the United States, because you are the community, you are the government. People complain about the government. Well, sometimes it's not enough to complain, you have to vote. Sometimes it's not enough to vote, you have to get out there and actually do something. So you can go to your PTO meetings, you can go to community meetings, you can go to neighborhood meetings, you can go to church meetings. There's all kinds of associations. It's not enough to just sit by and look at what's wrong. You are the community. And so if you are not engaged, you're disengaged. And there's always someone that's going to be engaged. Unfortunately, in communities that are impacted negatively with economic challenges and social challenges, there are often alternate means by which people earn income, aka drug sales, things along that line, because it's easier to do these things and get away with it in communities where people are disengaged. But that doesn't mean you have to live in a less quality community. You can turn those communities around, but it requires the people that live there to have an attitude of courage and an attitude of being engaged. Now, of course,
And faith. As you talked about earlier.
Chief and foremost. But, of course, that's all great talk. So how do you communicate that? For us, and our little merry band of actors and filmmakers, people like to watch things. And you can really impact people through stories, television, and movies seem to impact people more than a lecture or information. So how can we package this in a way that people are going to watch it, send it to their friends and family, and thus maybe be engaged? So that's ultimately what we're trying to do.
And people relate to stories.
Yes.
And I know that's what you have done, just from the trailer that I have seen, done a great job of talking about your message in a story.
And we will keep it as fresh as is possible by linking it to news and events of the day.
Question, Stan McCauley, film producer, director, writer, politician, dabbled in Hartford politics, activist, very much so. Little unrelated question, Stan, but I'm just curious on your take on this. The issues in the neighborhoods that your film is about. You mentioned drugs a moment ago, crime, etc. From your vantage point, is it getting better? You know, if you look at the neighborhoods in Hartford now versus, let's go back 10 years.
I think the neighborhoods in Hartford aren't as bad as people may think they are. You know, I moved into Hartford's North End for about 2 years because you hear things, and is it what you hear, or, you know? So, yeah, and it's bad. Don't get me wrong, but the people there are great people, and for the most part, the good folks are held hostage. So they, you know, stay inside at night, don't really go out. If you mind your business, but that means, you know, mind your business, look straight ahead, walk with a purpose, but then that doesn't encourage an engaging atmosphere where you ask your neighbor, hey, how's it going? You know, what business is it of yours? Why you want to know? And so I'd say that things are not getting better because people are not, they're not living a standard of life. Not that I'm the one that gets to set what that standard is, but they're not living a standard of life that is associated with a thriving, engaging community. There's little pockets of associations. We're so fragmented as communities and peoples that we get more and more and more isolated into these little groups, as opposed to respecting each other's differences. It's like, how can I neutralize you because you don't agree? And I think that's not good, and it doesn't encourage, I think, what's made America great, and that's that melting pot.
Very well said. Stan McCauley, film producer, director, writer, talking about reality, his reality news drama. It's called The Snitch, and Easter Sunday, not too far away.
Easter Sunday,
we can watch
yes.
the first episode.
First episode.
And we can watch it on accesstv.org.
Yes. accesstv.org. It'll be the only thing playing. I mean, there's other things playing, but as soon as you go there, it will play, and it'll play for 1 week solid as you go there. It'll be the only thing you can watch.
And then it will be 26 episodes, with the first one Easter Sunday.
The first one's Easter Sunday. The others will follow probably around, I'd say, September or so.
Stan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a needed project.
Well, we hope it gets some wind, and hopefully we can impact not only Hartford, but urban communities across the country.
The Snitch, accesstv.org, Stan McCauley. First episode on Easter Sunday, because it has a strong faith message.
Yes.
So it's the perfect time to introduce that.
Yes.
Stan, thank you so much. It's wonderful to see you.
It's good to see you again, and
Been too long.
I'm glad you're on the air. It's great listening to your show.
Oh, thank
It's
you
a
very much.
de-stressor.
It's a de-stressor. I like that word. I like that word. Thank you so much, Stan.